When it comes to game mechanics and abilities that I enjoy using, parrying has to be one of my favorites. It's reliant on skill, as the timing is usually incredibly precise, and is reliable in the way it gives you more openings to attack an enemy. This is with the context of parrying being just one of the abilities you can use. Obviously, if you make your game centered entirely around that, you get discussions like parry slap, but we're not talking about that right now. When you have an ability like parrying, making sure it's balanced in the game is incredibly important. This goes for any ability, mind you. You have to balance fun, reliability, and the power of it. And imagine there was a button to just kill all enemies on screen. It's reliable, yes, and is it powerful? Absolutely. But is it fun? Well, that's subjective, but if you enjoy that, I low-key gotta ask, what are you even playing at that point? Anyway, the reason why I bring up parrying as a game mechanic is because of its very secret use in Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Although to call it secret wouldn't exactly be right, more so it just wasn't shoved up in your face. It was something for you to discover yourself, which is one of the best game mechanics. Parrying is one of the best abilities in the game by far, and its use is very dependent on the situation the game accounts for. But what do I mean by that? This isn't going to be a long video. I just want to praise Resident Evil 9's parrying system, both in gameplay and how it's used in gameplay, with our favorite RPD officer, Leon Scott Kennedy. Parrying in the Resident Evil franchise technically started from the Resident Evil 4 remake. In that game, there are two types of parries, but they work the same. Bring out your knife right before an enemy attacks, and you'll parry it. Depending on the timing, you can either just deflect the enemy that cancels their animation, or it leaves them opening for a good old kickaroo. It's a simple mechanic, and can be used to parry almost any attack. It seems overpowered, right? But there are some aspects of the gameplay that balance out. Firstly, durability. All knives in the game have durability. By using it, it'll eventually dwindle until it breaks fully, and until you repair or find another knife, you can't parry anymore. This means you can't infinitely parry unless you get an infinite knife, which is possible, but you aren't getting that on your first playthrough. Plus, you can already use your knife for other things, such as assassinations, so why would you waste durability on a parry rather than for an instant kill? You know, if you could choose the situation. Secondly, why would you want to parry? Sure, it looks cool, but if you mess up, you are losing health and also losing knife durability by defending yourself. Wouldn't it be better to just shoot the enemy from a safer distance? And even if you want to get close range, you have a shotgun for a reason. In terms of resources, it is way more efficient to just shoot the guy. And thirdly, groups. Resident Evil 4 Remake is no stranger to quite literally throwing 20 dudes at you and saying good luck. And although parrying does push some enemies back, imagine a situation where you parry a guy in front of you, but then an enemy from behind throws something at you or just stabs you from the back because you can't parry from the back. Whoops. As a result, parrying becomes a last resort mechanic. If you run out of ammo and the enemies are closing in, a quick parry can help open the distance for you. But it's not something you can rely on immensely. Unless you're doing a knife-only run, but that's for them, not you. Despite the flaws I give, parrying is still a very cool mechanic that adds to the gameplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's just another way to fight the enemy that if you time it right, you can get better results than if you just shot them with a gun. It's just not something that's borderline essential to the gameplay, and I like that. Now the reason why I bring up parrying first in RE4 Remake is because the exact same mechanic will return in Resident Evil 9 Requiem, but with a few twists that would actually change when and why you use parrying. Parrying in Resident Evil 9 is almost entirely the same as RE4 Remake. In the game, Leon uses a hatchet instead of a knife, but the rules still apply. Hold up the hatchet when an enemy is about to attack you, and you'll perform a parry. If you time it right, you get a perfect parry. Same system, same rules. You can parry almost anything as long as you get the timing right. The big difference here is everything else around the parrying mechanics. Resident Evil Requiem has the return of the zombies. No Las Plagas infecting people, no, these are zombies that barely have any human sense in them, and their animations reflect that. They're twitchy, inconsistent, and from an animation viewpoint, it's amazing, but from a parrying perspective, it's awful, fuck it. Especially the ones with weapons, those guys I can never predict. Because of this, parrying has become a lot harder in my opinion. Enemies clearly telegraph their actions back in RE4 Remake, but here it's a lot harder to gauge it. Obviously, it's a new game and animations will be telegraphed eventually, but I can say right now they alternate. Take this clip where I parry a zombie 2 times, and he backs away and starts twitching. Then, take this clip where I parry a zombie 2 times, and then he goes for a third lunge, which has never happened to me so far in any of my playthroughs. What the fuck, man? It is immensely satisfying though once you perform a perfect parry, and it's here where I need to admit I lied to you. I said it was everything else besides the parrying mechanics that got changed, but that's a half truth. When you perform a perfect parry in this game, the enemy isn't just left open for you to kick. Instead, a unique animation plays where Leon knocks a zombie to their knees, allowing you to decapacitate their head with a single hatchet strike. This is incredibly important. In Resident Evil 9, when you kill a zombie, it will eventually evolve to a blister head, being more aggressive and essentially being an asshole. They're an evolved version of Crimson Heads from RE1 Remake, but up to 11. These guys are angry, do so much more damage, and also have an insta-kill attack that, to my knowledge, you can't parry. But there are two ways of making sure a zombie doesn't become a blister head. One is using a purple injector fang with Grace that quite literally explodes the zombie, or two, destroying the head. And if you re-look at the perfect parrying clip, doing it gives you the perfect chance to destroy the head. And now, the importance of parrying has also been up to 11. With the introduction of blister heads, parrying has been given a stronger importance as a risk versus reward tool. Failing a parry will cause immense damage for you along with your hatchet's durability, and you do not want hatchet durability lowered at any point. Durability in Resident Evil 9 is a lot more lenient, as you can repair a hatchet at any time with the use of a button. This directly allows you to experiment more parrying as it'll never break. The only reason I say to maintain the durability is that you do not want that shit to break when you're in a tough corner where parrying becomes once again a last resort mechanic. Now, with the way I'm describing things, you probably think parrying is a super important tool that you need to know in order to survive the game. And is that true? No, with a small asterisk icon. Parrying is not required to beat the game. There's only 1 to 2 boss fights that require it, and the game directly tells you how to use it, so it's not like you'll die without it. In regards to zombies, you can still take them out from a distance, and even if they turn to blister heads, you can still kill them easily with a rifle. Matter of fact, it might be better to let zombies turn to blister heads, as you get more money since you're technically killing 2 enemies. Parrying is something the game has, but doesn't force it upon you. You can go just fine without using it. However, this all changes with Insanity Mode. The only reason I'm making this video is because I beat Insanity Mode. It was so much fun, but required such liberal use of the parrying mechanic that I practically mastered it. For context, Insanity Mode is the hardest difficulty in Resident Evil Requiem. It's only unlocked after beating the game once, and it pretty much requires some use of the bonus items you can obtain in the completion menu. It is absolutely bullshit. Enemies do 75% of your health in one attack, and in Grace's case, she's a one-shot by any zombie unless you have a defense item. Everyone is a glass cannon here. Because of this, parrying in Insanity Mode is given such importance because enemies are extremely tanky. But no matter how much health they have, a good parry is enough to instantly one-shot them. Insanity Mode changes a lot of things. It makes it easier for a hatchet to break, and changes enemy spawns and locations along with making them stronger. Enemies are extremely aggressive and will not hesitate to get up close, so learning the parry is essential to bridge the distance. Most of my footage you're seeing from parrying, which is also on Insanity Mode, is via the care center because I didn't have any save files in Raccoon City sadly. Just missing a single parry is enough to be one shot, and while methods like using ammo still work, you don't want to overuse it. Enemies are again more tanky, and it's best to save ammo for boss fights, where parrying can't be used to insta-kill them. It adds on to the resource management aspect of Resident Evil, which I love. I know many people who have played Resident Evil that might not like the parrying abilities of the game because it potentially makes it, parry slop / reduces resource management. What's the point of managing your resources when you can use an infinite hatchet that can essentially one-shot everything? And while that is a good point, I think it heightens the resource management. Resident Evil has always thrived on making difficult decisions to conserve resources. If you shot and killed every zombie you saw, you would be out of ammo very quickly. Risk versus reward has always been one of the key factors of the game. Dodge this enemy and don't get hit, and you're rewarded with not wasting healing items and ammo. That same philosophy applies here. Again, parrying isn't perfect. It requires good timing with many inconsistent animations, and if you fuck it up, you are using way more resource because look at that. And it should be noted in a group setting, parrying does not work. Take this clip of me in Insanity Mode, and before anyone says anything, just ignore what's going on here. As you can see, I'm currently being bomb rushed by lickers and zombies, and notice that when I perform a perfect parry, the animation actually gets cancelled and the enemies aren't pushed back, making me get instantly killed. Now I'm not sure if it was because I was poisoned, but you can see my model slowly being pushed away, which tells me that you cannot do parries in a group setting, just use a bomb. I know some people have just played through Insanity Mode using infinite ammo and RPGs, but I don't know, I feel like I personally want a challenge. Standard Classic is a bit too easy, but Insanity Mode is another level. There needed to be better balance for this. I did admittedly use the bonus items though because they help a lot, and I will say if you do want to learn how to use the parry more efficiently, I recommend buying the Mortal Edge via the bonus items. This hatchet is the one that belongs to the Elite Commander, aka Hunk. I'm not budging on this, that's Hunk. And at first glance, it seems like an improved hatchet. Pretty high stats, but sadly cannot be upgraded, meaning that if you put more money into the hatchet, it can be stronger than the Mortal Edge. However, the Mortal Edge has one benefit. its parrying ability. Via its description, its parrying ability has been increased, giving you more frames to perform one, allowing for easier parrying. It's something that's extremely useful in early game when you don't have strong weapons or strong body armor. And for a little fun, let's do a test for you guys. I've been talking about the timing for parrying, but I want to do a little test for you guys to see if you can do parrying. Here's a red square. I want you to pause the video when it's green. If you pause it right when it hits green, nice job, you performed a parry. Let's try it now. Okay, nice job if you got the green. Now let's try to do a perfect parry. If you still somehow got it, then congrats, you're a parry master. And if you're wondering if this is actually accurate to the parry timing, it isn't. I just chose a random time length. Yeah. If I am being completely real though, I hope it doesn't return unless it's the same developers because I trust them not to fuck it up in terms of when to use it. It is really funny what you can actually parry in this game. Just go on Twitter, there's some funny clips there. Actually, don't go on Twitter. At all. Okay, so I just got out of the shower, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope you guys liked the unique visual flair for this one. I've been enjoying doing these for these video essays, and hopefully it's a lot more experimental and more, more effect heavy. In the off chance, if you do want to follow me, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to follow me on my socials, either be Twitter or Twitch, because I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch. I showed some of my Resident Evil Requiem gameplay via Twitch, and I do have an archive channel where I upload my Resident Evil Requiem playthrough if you are interested in that. Twitch is probably the best place to catch up on what I've been doing. I would be talking about love life, or, playing new games like Resident Evil Requiem. Anyway, I'm out. Peace out.